The monks remained focused on mental qualities in and of themselves with reference to Four Noble Truths. And how does monk remain focused on mental phenomena in and of themselves with reference to Four Noble Truths? There is the case where he discerns. And how does a monk remain focused on mental qualities in and of themselves with reference to the Four Noble Truths? There is the case where he discerns, as it has come to be, that it is stress. This is the origination of stress. This is the cessation of stress. This is the way leading to the cessation of stress. So this is the next level, or the last point in the four foundations of mindfulness. And we have discussed the summary in the last two sessions. What we discussed was, we start with the body awareness, and when you have the body awareness, there is a possibility that your awareness will go beyond body. You will have awareness to the feelings, and the awareness of the feelings will lead to the awareness of the mind, if I may take a linear relationship. And once the awareness of the mind is mastered, you will see all phenomena. And those phenomena are, we discussed last time or in the previous sessions, maybe appearing and disappearing of hindrances, and appearing and disappearing of the aggregates, and appearing and disappearing of the faculties, internal and external faculties, and their combinations and their connections. So all these phenomena will not stop. They will go as it is, and they will go on as it has been in the past. But unlike in the past, you will have an ability, instead of getting involved, you will have an ability just to see what's going on. So once this is done, basically you are understanding the Four Noble Truths. How you will understand Four Noble Truths is that these phenomena or these things for which there is no control, if you try to, instead of observing them as it appears and as it disappears, instead of that, if you try to hold on to them, if you try to control them, if you try to manage them, you are inviting trouble. And that, the Blessed One says, is first Four Noble Truth. This is the case where he discerns, as it has come to be, that this is stress. You create your own stress, right? And you will understand only after going through the body, only after going through the mind, only after going through the feeling, only after going through the appearing and disappearing of what you call hindrances and aggregates and even the faculties. So once you have accepted that this is suffering, and also with the same thing, because of the same reason, you have seen the reason for suffering. You know, you have the ability, you have the choice to try and control them. And now what you are doing is, you don't do that. Instead of that, you just observe they appear and pass away. And that is what we call letting go. So you know the suffering, you know the reason for the suffering as well as the reason. And for the same reason, now you have already achieved the state where you don't react, you don't take action. Instead of, you maintain choiceless awareness. Since you maintain choiceless awareness, the suffering is ceased. So there is no more suffering, and that is called the cessation of suffering. And then when you look back, you know the way leading to the cessation of suffering, how it has happened, and what steps have taken place in the process. So these are the Four Noble Truths. And if I may briefly explain what suffering is, and the Buddha has put everything as suffering. He says, birth is a suffering, aging is suffering, death is suffering, sorrow is suffering, lamentation is suffering, pain is suffering, distress is suffering, despair is suffering, and association with unbeloved is suffering, and separations from the loved is suffering, and not getting what is wanted is suffering, and getting what is unwanted is suffering. And he sum up all these things into few words, into 3 words. In short, he says, these 5 clinging aggregates are suffering. 5 clinging aggregates are form, feeling, perception, mental volition, and the consciousness. So those are the 5 clinging aggregates. So these 5 clinging aggregates are suffering in short. And these 5 clinging aggregates are the birth, death, and what is unwanted and what is wanted. All these things are coming in the form of these 5 aggregates. So this is stress. If you try to cling on to them, they are stress. And then he says origination of suffering, or the reason for suffering, he says, is the craving. The craving, there are 3 types of craving. The craving for sensuality, which all we know, and craving for becoming, and craving for non-becoming as well. Craving for becoming means once you come out of the sensual world, you will get to the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, you may want to stay at certain level. You may want to achieve a certain level. You may want to accomplish certain absorption. So those are now not sensual craving, but they are craving for becoming, right? So just because you have the craving for becoming, and when you can't achieve that, there will have craving for non-becoming as well. When you can't achieve a certain thing, you may start hurting yourself. You may start hating yourself at the same time. So because of the craving of becoming, on the other side, you have the craving of non-becoming as well. So it is a very strong disclosure by the Blessed One, finding by the Blessed One. We can understand the craving for suffering. We can understand the craving, we can understand the craving for sensuality. We can understand the craving for becoming. But understanding craving for non-becoming is beyond human thinking. Right? But Blessed One says, even non-becoming, which is hating yourself or hurting yourself, is also a way of craving. And that is the last type of craving. And such people are having a greater ability to understand them. So those are the origination of craving. And then it goes on to say, the next one is cessation of craving. And when he's saying cessation of stress, or rather cessation of suffering, he says, what is the noble truth, noble path of practice leading to the cessation of stress? He says it's just the Eightfold Noble Path. And Eightfold Noble Path is what we have been discussing. And they are right view, right resolve, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So right view means knowing that everything is suffering is right view. And that is the highest understanding, or highest point, or the pinnacle of right view. Before Buddha, this was not there. What was there before Buddha was, they say, don't give anything to anybody. You just enjoy yourself. This is the only life you have. Whether you give or not, you will not have any benefit of it after life. And there is no life after this. There is nothing called karma and a result of karma, or there is no cause and effect relationship. And they said there is no need to look after your parents because there is no afterlife, and we are just born because they have had sex, and so therefore it is for their satisfaction, and there is no need for us to look after them, and all sorts of things were there during the time of Buddha. And then he said, all these are rubbish, all these are wrong view, and the right view is there is some result, there is some benefit in giving, there is some benefit in offering, there is some benefit giving in large scale, there is cause and effect relationship, there is a benefit in looking after your parent. And there are people who have actually seen these things. There are people who have actually realized these things. And there are people who are preaching these things. There are people even today practicing. So if therefore all what you hear from other teachers is not all correct, and if you get onto the other side, then that is the right way. And then Buddha said in one of the suttas, he even very directly, in a very clever manner, he said, knowing that you have a wrong view in itself is the right view. So that is where the mindfulness comes into the picture so far as right view is concerned. If you know that you are doing wrong thing, then you are in the right track. Because a lot of people, they don't know that they are in the right view, or they are in the right path, or they are not doing proper thing. They don't know. But knowing that you have a right view, he says, you have won half the battle, right? So when you have the right view, we call samma ditti, and then you have the right resolve, samma sankappa. And when you have the right view, you have the right way of thinking. And that right way of thinking, again, if you may not have, since you have had the wrong view, you may have the wrong thinking as well. Again, the Blessed One says, doesn't matter. Having wrong thinking is fine, but if you know that you have wrong thinking, that itself is right. Because you know that you are wrong now. And similarly, when it comes to speech and action and livelihood, and if you know that you are not in the right and you are still in the wrong speech, wrong action, wrong livelihood, and that knowing is all part of right view. And when it comes to right resolve, the right way of thinking, he says there are three types of them. They are the freedom from ill will, freedom from harmlessness, and freedom for resolve for renunciation, right? So when you say these are the right resolves or right thinking, when you say resolve for renunciation, is not, you shave the head and go to a forest and start practicing. That is the pinnacle. That is the last point that you can achieve. But what you are doing at the moment is also something like that. You have given up the things that you can do during these few hours. You have come to the temple, or at your home, you have moved away from other things that you could do, and you are listening to this talk. So that is a way of renunciation as well. And resolve for freedom from ill will means you don't get annoyed unnecessarily. You call it nekkamma sankappa, avyapada sankappa. Avyapada sankappa means you don't, your way of thinking is not having ill will. You always, even if someone is not doing the right thing, or even if someone is trying to pull your leg or do the wrong thing or harm you, you will not wish him harm. Your thinking is not wishing him harm. Your thinking is not allowing to wish bad for him, to curse him, right? So that is freedom from ill will. And resolve from harmlessness, we call it Nikam Sankalpa, Avihinsa Sankalpa, means you don't hurt anybody. Your thinking is not hurtful thinking. So that's the right resolve. And then right speech is you abstain from lying, abstain from divisive speech, you abstain from abusive speech, abstain from idle chatter. And these are the right speech. So these are basically what do you call precepts as well. Even when we observe precepts, these things are coming as precepts as well. And then you have right action. In right action, he's mentioning abstaining from taking life, others' life, and maybe your own life, from stealing, from sexual misconduct. So these are the abstaining from these things are the right actions. So if you don't have these right actions, which are physical action, and the previous one is the verbal action. So if you abstain from these things, you have done 2/3 of the job. And these have been the pillars, these have been the reasons, these have been the stones on which you have understood the Four Noble Truths. Over your practice, you have generated these qualities. You have cultivated these qualities, sometimes even without your knowledge. Right view, right resolve, right speech, and right action. And then the right livelihood. Right livelihood does not mean your job, right? It has got nothing to do with the job you do. Livelihood here means the way you live without cheating other people. A lot of people live, do things in a cheatful manner, right? So what the Blessed One says is right livelihood means you don't do anything for your benefit. You take the weave or the benefit of others, or live in a manner that is not cheating anyone. And the next one is the right effort. Right effort, the Blessed One says there are five progressive actions in right effort. The 5 progressive actions in right effort are: you will have to first generate desire, and then endeavor, and then arouses persistence, and then upholds and exerts his intent for the sake of non-arising of evil and unskillful qualities, yeah. So these are the things that you will have in right effort. I will read them again. You will have to generate desire, endeavors, and arouse persistence, and upholds and exerts. Right. So these are the 5 things that you will have to do. I'll tell them again. First one is generate desire, and then endeavor, and then arouse. Once you have started, you arouse persistence, and once it is going on, you uphold onto them, and then exerts them at the highest point. And what you exert is, there are four things that you will have to act. The four things are intent for the sake of non-arising of evil, unskillful qualities that have not yet arisen. So there will have unskillful qualities that have not yet arisen, and you don't allow them to arise. And for that to happen, you should have a desire for that to happen, not arising of unarisen, unskillful states. And once, not only you have a desire, you should endeavor for it. And once you endeavor, then you will have to persistently apply that. And once you are able to persistently apply, then you will have to uphold what you are doing. And then even if the difficulties are coming, you don't give up, and you just go like huge tusker that breaks a wall. Right? So that type of effort he's explaining for the first one, which is non-arising of not yet arisen unskillful qualities, right? And the second one is abandoning of unskillful qualities that have arisen. There will have unskilled qualities that have arisen. To abandon, you will have to abandon them. To abandon them also, you will have to do the same thing. You should have a desire. You should endeavor. You should have a plan. You should have persistence. You will have to uphold and exert. Right? Just to give two examples, when you, in the first one, not yet unarisen desires mean, instead of staying at home by just coming here, you have avoided lot of unarisen, unskillful states. If you had stayed at home, this won't be the case. You may be watching TV, you may be calling your friend, you may be having some wine or beer, and maybe enjoying, right? So with that, a lot of unarisen, unskillful qualities will arise. But instead, because you came here, because you had a desire, because you endeavored, because you had the persistence every week to come and this time to allocate for this, and that avoids during this period of time, those things that could have arisen at home have been completely avoided. But when you come here, although you have left home, there will have certain things that are already in your mind. I would have stayed at home, and there is this party at home, and I would have gone there, and I would have done this, I would have done that. Those things would be coming within you, right? So even you will have to now abandon them. They have already crossed the Ganges and overtaken your practice. You are walking, but what is going in the mind is that. You may be observing your breath, but what is going in the mind is your thought. So in that state, if you somehow or other take your attention to the main object by either labeling, when you are walking, you say right, right, right. You say left, 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 and you apply your thoughts and try to maintain your attention to the main object. So when you do that, that is also an effort. And in that effort, what happens is you are avoiding some unskillful, evil qualities that have arisen by diverting your mind to the main object. Or maybe another way, you may label that thought itself. By labeling that thought itself, you take your mindfulness to those unskillful qualities, and even then they will be abundant, right? So those are two things where you can generate desire, endeavor, arouse persistence, and uphold and exert. And there are two others, and the next one is arising skillful qualities that have not yet arisen. To generate, we were talking about unskillful qualities. To generate skillful qualities that have not yet arisen, also you should have a desire, right? So that is, say, to be mindful of whatever is going on, to keep the mindfulness to the fore, no matter what comes. So that is a new skill that you are developing now, right? So to do that, most of the time you will forget. When you give a report, you will say, no, I was not able to have my attention to the leg, or I was not able to have my attention to the breath. My attention was going to sounds, or my attention was going to thoughts, etc. You may be complaining. But instead, if you can say, yes, my mind was getting diverted to other things, but I was able to be mindful even of them. So that is a new quality, a skillful quality that you are developing. And to do that, there should have some preparation within you. That is the generation of desire. And then you don't forget it, you keep doing it. That's the endeavorance. And then you become more and more persistent over time. And you become, you are able to uphold what you are doing. Even when you give a report, you very clearly says, yes, I did this, I knew it is mindfulness. And that will change the whole game. And you will see anything that comes your way. You just, all bad things, all your bad qualities are coming into your mind. And you just keep labeling them or becoming mindful about them. And then you are developing a new skill that you have not had in your life so far. Right. So, and then the next one is maintenance and non-confusion, increase and plenitude, development and culmination of this skillful quality that have arisen. So you have generated what was not there. So once it was generated, now the seed is springing out. Once the seed springs out, you don't just leave it on its own. You go and look after it. Now you know it has to grow to bear fruits. So for that purpose, yeah, you should have a desire, you should have endeavorance, you should have persistence and uphold and excel. In doing what? To maintain it. In doing what? Not to get confused with what is happening. Because when you become mindful of one thing, another thing will come. Another thing will come. Everything that was burning your system, mental system, underneath, strong, unskillful qualities will start coming up. When they surface, you should not get confused. Yes, these are coming up because of mindfulness is so firm. So you just keep on without getting confused. You just maintain your mindfulness. So you should not get confused, and you should increase it. And they say plenitude, I don't know the meaning of it. And they say development and the culmination, and it will come to the culmination. Culmination in the sense, when you become mindful of everything that comes your way, your mind will not have any place to stand without your knowledge. Wherever the mind goes, you are there, like a policeman, like a spy, like a video camera. You may be recording everything. So now your consciousness cannot hide anything from you. So therefore, strength of the consciousness deteriorate. So once it deteriorates, and you are now very clearly seeing the mind separately from your form, right? So when you see the mind, when you take the power of the consciousness away from its agenda, then it comes to a culmination. So you may feel that you are vibrating, you may feel that you are sweating, you may feel that you are lost in the world. So all sorts of unexpected mental and physical occurrences will happen. So when those things happen, that's the culmination. And that is because of maintenance of the skillful qualities that you have had. So once that happens, you just should let it go, let it happen, let it to take its course, natural course, and then you may cross the Ganges of the samsara. So like that, that is what even Buddha did. He said when he sat in that last night as expecting Buddha, he said he thought to himself, he determined that let my flesh dissolve, let my blood dry out, let my bones crack and open. I will not get up until such time I realize what is going on. So he has done that. He has come to that culmination before becoming Buddha, but he has not had that right effort to go beyond it. So that night, that particular night, he did that. So after doing that, he has found the right way, right effort, and then he is explaining it to us. This is how you will have to do. And so that's about the right effort. So once you have the right effort, the next item in the Eightfold Noble Path is the right mindfulness. And in the right mindfulness, Blessed One mentions here. Now back to square one. Remember, 4 foundations of mindfulness started with saying this is the case where a monk remains focused on the body in and of itself, ardent, alert, and mindful, subduing greed and distress with reference to the world. And he remains focused on feelings in and of themselves. Again, ardent, alert, mindful, subduing greed and distress with reference to the world. And he also says he remains focused on the mind in and of itself. Again, the same few words: ardent, alert, and mindful, subduing greed and stress with reference to the world. And then he says mental phenomena in and of themselves, ardent, alert, and mindful, subduing greed and distress with reference to the world. This is called right mindfulness. This is how this 4 foundation mindfulness started as well. And even at the end, if you have the right mindfulness, so now you have the ability, now you have developed the capability to know where your mind is at any point in time. So if it is the body, you know it is in and out, in and of itself. And if it is feeling, yes, you just accept that. If it is mind thinking, you just accept that. If it is mental phenomena that are taking place, you just accept that. So once you have developed with right effort, you don't care. You simply become an observer. And the outside world may feel that you are a person who is not having any feeling. Outside world may see as you are sort of mad. Outside world will say that you don't have any senses. And consider this as a certificate. Consider this as the proof that your practice is going well. Because now wherever your physical and mental process is, your attention is there, you are just with yourself, in yourself and of yourself. So there is no reactions to the outside world. If there are reactions to the outside world will know that you are living. And that is the living they know. But Buddha is teaching us a more efficient way of living, a better way of living, which is living in and of yourself. All that time, we were not in and of ourselves, we were out of ourselves. Buddha brings the attention to the physical and mental process and then teaches us how to be mindful. And if this is happening in your existence, not 100%, at least 20, 30, 40, 50, 60%. And if you're not affected by things very much, then that's the right mindfulness. And the last one is the right concentration. And in this right concentration, the Blessed One is explaining the four, basically, four absorptions that we have discussed many times in the past. So I'm not going to repeat them. We have discussed them under feelings, and we have discussed them under what you call mind as well. So these are the Eightfold Noble Path, the summary of Eightfold Noble Path. And in conclusion, after explaining all these things, Blessed One is giving a wonderful statement. I'll read it for you. He was not giving that in English, but anyway, I'll read it in English. And this is how it goes. It says, now if anyone would develop these for establishing mindfulness in the way for 7 years, one of two fruits can be expected of him. Either right here and now, or if there is any remnant of clinging substance, non-return. Either arahantship right here and now, or if there are any remnant of clinging, then non-return, right? Which means there are 4 stages in achievement. The highest is the arahantship, and the third is the non-return. So if you can do it for 7 years, the Blessed One says that it is possible even today. Anyone who is doing it, it is possible. So this is not something very clearly that you will have to wait until you die. It is something that can be experienced right here, right now, if you do it. And he doesn't stop there. He says, let alone 7 years. If anyone would develop this for establishing mindfulness in this way for 6 years, 5 years, 4, 3, 2 years, 1 year, 7 months, 6 months, 5, 4, 3, 2 months, 1 month, half a month, one of two fruits can be expected of him. Either arahantship right here and now, or if there is any remnant of clinging substance, sustenance, non-return. Let alone half a month. If anyone would develop this for establishing of mindfulness in this way for 7 days, one or two fruits can be expected of him, either arahantship right here and now, or if there is any remnant of clinging sustenance, non-return. So it is a huge range. If you are so clever and doing it full time, you can do it in 7 days. But if you are a person like me, if you do it wholeheartedly with a plan, then 7 years, in 7 years, you can achieve the results. You can achieve the you can reap the benefit. You can have the fruit of being mindful. So we have been discussing this for some time. So I hope everyone has had an opportunity to understand and practice mindfulness in their day-to-day life, daily life. So may you all be able to achieve one of these fruits, as Blessed One mentioned, in this very life itself. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. With that, I'm concluding the mindfulness, 4 foundations of mindfulness discourse.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Bhante, after a long time.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pete. And any questions from anybody?
Just it's not exactly like with exactly what you were talking about, but it's like a little bit maybe.
Yeah.
Just like if you like feel like your mood, like you're feeling, you can be like maybe irritable or something like that. Is it best to just like do you just sort of sit with it until it passes the the feeling of that feeling.
You're spot on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't just sit, but just observe it.
Observe. Yeah.
Get close to it and see
Mm.
how it happens in your mind, and also see how it happens in your body. Try to
Okay. Yes.
understand this relationship. So you will be with yourself, and only thing is you should not have any expectation that they will fade away or that they will go away. But you, with a smile, you accept yourself.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're spot on.
The talk actually, like just listening to the talk tonight, I didn't feel really good before the talk. I feel much better after the talk.
Oh, good.
Much more positive place. But yeah, thank you.
Nice to hear, everyone. Sarah.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okie dokes. Yeah, I think that was it for me.
Yeah. Yes, Chatu.
I have a question.
Yes.
So gave me a task or instruction. The background is when I observe just being, so you said to put it into a reference point, being the body. So I've been trying in walking and sitting. I guess maybe I'm not sure exactly how to do it. Like I basically take attention to the center of the body, but I don't have and it's the same with the sitting, but I don't really observe anything different. Like it's not really much different from me just observing, just being. There's no noticeable difference.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I'm doing it correctly, is my question.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. I mean, since you have been used to observing just being, your attention will not directly come to the body. So you keep on trying this for some time, right? So then it will gradually, you will start, because as it is, you have gone beyond form, right? So this is the case where you come back to form. So when you come back to form, you will come back to very subtle layers of the form. So to get to the subtle layers of the form, it may take some time for you to really notice them, right? So therefore, just keep trying. And the best way to keep trying is while walking, when you place your leg, try to see the vibrations that you may feel throughout the body. When you place the leg, whether there is any vibration that you are feeling. When you lift it, what happens to that vibration? And while sitting, just take your attention through the body. It's not just the center of the body. It is bit doing something rather than completely not doing as you have been, because that not doing has taken you to very fine layers. So in these finer layers, now we will have to scrap few things. So this is why we will have to now dilute that a bit, but that fine mind, to get to that fine form layer, you will have to you'll have to do that. But while sitting, just run through the body rather than trying to go to the center of the body. Does it make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, most welcome. So if there are no other questions, then we can do the chanting. So I'll kindly request Chatu